Alrighty, welcome to MTG Anonymous. So, I just played and recorded a game that will be coming out on Friday, but I forgot to do the deck list. So, we'll show it here. We're playing Golos Copies, and as you can understand, probably, we're going to make some copies of stuff. So, as you can see here, the CMC is 3.8 on average. This is standard. Just the regular standard, not the other standard. Move Golos out here. There we go. So, first we need to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Golos Tireless Pilgrim. For 5, you get a 3/5 legendary artifact creature scout. When Golos Tireless Pilgrim enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that card on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library, and then for 2 Wooburg, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana costs. So, what we want to do is we want to get a whole bunch of this trigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to make copies of it. First, we're going to go over the 2 drops. First, we have Incubation Druid for 1 and a green. Tap, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 of that type instead. So this is how we're going to get around not having black mana. Well, this is how we're going to add additional mana. So once we get that adapt going, then we can choose green, which we have the most green, so we'd probably choose something like red or white. We have lands that can produce white, and so what we do, we'd get those 3 lands, those 3 white mana, and then we'd use it for Golos. Next, we have Paradise Druid for 1 and a green. Paradise Druid has hexproof as long as it's untapped. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. This is how we're going to get our black mana for our spells. Obviously, it's the only way we have to produce black in this deck, so it's important. Next, we have Narset's Reversal for 2 blue. Instant, copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to its owner's hand. You may choose new targets for the copy. We're going to use this for mass manipulation. I've run into it twice since I started playing this deck. Narset's Reversal can cause you to be able to copy their spell and then take their creatures with it. It's essential. Also, we can use Narset's Reversal to make a copy of Nissa's Triumph, and then we can get some more lands. Unfortunately, it puts them in our hand instead of our library, so if we run into any more ramp cards from our opponent, then we'll use that to steal those. Nissa's Triumph for 2 green. Sorcery, search your library for up to 2 basic force cards if you control a Nissa Planeswalker. Instead, search your library for up to 2 land cards. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. So, like I said, if we have Narset's Reversal and we have Nissa out, let's add that to this combo. We can search for any lands we want. Right? And so if we have 3 lands, we will more than likely go get some Guild Gates so we can make some more additional colors. And we have the 4 types of Guild Gate. So next, we're going over the 3 drops: Mirror Image, Risen Reef, Quasi-Duplicate, and Kiora. I still don't know how to say that word. Behemoth Background. Mirror Image and Quasi-Duplicate are doing what we need to do. We may, for Mirror Image, for 2 and a blue, you may have Mirror Image enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature you control. And then Quasi-Duplicate, 1 and blue, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, and then it has Jumpstart. Jumpstart says you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs, then exile this card. So what's going on is we're going to play Spark Double, copy Golos, copy the copy with Mirror Image, and then now we don't have to worry about the legendary rule. And then same thing for Quasi-Duplicate. Once you make the copy of Golos with Spark Double, then you can copy that copy with Quasi-Duplicate, and then you have 3 Goloses. Pretty cool, right? Next, this card that I can't pronounce for 2 and Simic. Legendary Planeswalker enters with 7 loyalty. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield and you control, draw a card. -1, untap target permanent. We actually just have it for Gargos because it is a target. I don't know if that works actually. Maybe it will. I haven't had a chance to try it, so feel free to let me know. But once we target, we can fight a creature, and then that's pretty much removal on a stick. For 4-drops, we have Shalai, Voice of Plenty, Spark Double, Omnath, Locus of Royal, and then Path of Discovery. Shalai, Voice of Plenty, is for 3 and a white. You get a 3/4 legendary creature angel with flying. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you can control have hexproof, and then for 4 a green and a green, but a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. This is here for the hexproof. We've got 2 planeswalkers that we need to protect to be able to do things. So that's why. And then if we have extra mana, because Nissa produces a lot of it, then we can put +1/+1 counters on our creatures. Spark Double is in here to copy our legendary creatures. Spark Double for 3 and a blue. You may have Spark Double enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature. It enters with an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker, and if it isn't legendary, that permanent is legendary. Oh, if that permanent is legendary. So we can use Spark Double to copy the Behemoth Beckoner, or copy Nissa, or copy Golos and Omnath. Tatyova's also. So basically what happens is we make the copy of these creatures, and then now we have more. We can also copy Gargos and then destroy lots of things. That's also a choice. Omnath, Locus of Royal for 1, a green, a blue, and a red. Legendary Elemental for 3/3. Enters the battlefield, deals damage equal to the number of elementals you control. We only have the 4 in the deck, but we can make copies. Whenever a land enters the battlefield in your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. This is our land draw, basically. So what'll happen is, well, we can also make copies of it, but we're definitely going to have 8 lands if the game goes long enough. So what we want to do is we want to get as many lands as we can, put those +1/+1 counters on Omnath or the Risen Reef so that way they don't die, and draw cards for planned lands. Path of Discovery for 3 and a green. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. The whole point for this card is to get as many lands as we can. We need lands, we need them early, we need them fast. Also, since it's on an enchantment, that makes it pretty nice. And Explore says, reveal the top card of your library. Put that card in your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. So, we really want this for the +1/+1, but if we get lands, we get to put those lands in our hand. And then that gets us into some acceleration, basically. Repudiate or Replicate, either Simic or 1 a green and a blue. For the instant, counter target activated or triggered ability, and then for the sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. So, this is for things that make tokens. You can counter the triggered ability right before, or we could also use Replicate to make copies of Spark Doubles or Risen Reefs. That's basically all we're going to use this for. Tatyova for 3 green and a blue. Legendary Merfolk Druid for it's a 3/3. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So basically, we make copies of this. We draw as many cards as we want per land we drop. Nissa, everyone knows what Nissa does. I'm not going over it, but it's important since forests add an additional green. So that means we can more than likely tap Golos at least twice whenever we can use it. Aggressive Mammoth for 3, a green, and a green. You get an 8/8 elephant with trample. It says other creatures you control have trample. Gargos, Vicious Watcher for 3, a green, and a green. It's an 8/7 legendary creature Hydra with vigilance. Hydra spells cost 4 less to cast, but we don't have any more Hydras, so that doesn't matter. When a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargos Vicious Watcher fights up to 1 creature you don't control. Spark Double targets, replicate targets, mirror image targets, and I'm still not sure about how Omnath works with that, but eventually we'll see how that works. Masterful Replication for 5 and a blue. Instant, choose 1. Create 2 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, or choose a target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact until end of turn. We don't have many artifacts, literally just 2. So what we'll do, we'll make lots of copies of Golos as we can, and then make it copy Gate Colossus and then swing out. Since it can't be blocked by creatures with 2 or less, it makes life a lot easier. Next is Gate Colossus for 8. We get an 8/8 construct. This spell costs 1 less for each gate you control. We have exactly 8 in the deck for this reason. And then whenever a gate enters the battlefield in your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library. So the way this works, we could have Nissa make the guild gate into a creature, which is still a creature gate. Next, we make a copy of it, hopefully with Spark Double, so that way it enters with a 1/1 counter, and then we can get Gate Colossus back from our graveyard if that so happens to be there. It's a nice little combo. That is it for this deck tech. It was really quick. Next, we're going to be playing this deck on Friday, so I will see you then later.